This morning, I was listening to the radio on my way to work, and there was quite an interesting topic going on at the station I was listening to. And basically the main focus was, are you your biggest fan? Are you doing what you're doing to make yourself happy? Now, they definitely approached it a totally different way. They basically asked the question, in your current state, watching from an outsider's perspective, would you be impressed with yourself? Would you be a fan of yourself? Would you be amazed by the things that you were doing, by the way you live your life, and by how you deal with your surroundings, by the way you approach your situations? It's all pretty relevant. I mean, why would you do something if you weren't impressing yourself? Why would you be chasing something if not to feel fulfillment within yourself? Now, an argument could be made that you're doing it to support or help or to seek the well-being of somebody else that is important to you. Great, I get that concept. But why wouldn't you use the rest of your time, the rest of, we have such little time. We have such a small time frame of existence. Why wouldn't we chase that to fulfill ourselves? Who gives a shit what other people think is fulfilling? Who gives a shit what other people view as a worthy use of time? Who gives a shit? Nobody should give a shit, because it's your time, it's your life. But what do you see as useful? What do you perceive as fulfilling? You look back on 20 years from now, what are you gonna feel happy with yourself? Are you gonna, are you gonna feel satisfied with what you did with your time? What is the thing that you really should be, what's gonna impress yourself? Like these people were saying, if you were standing on the other side of the mirror and really, watching yourself in second person mode, would you laugh at your own jokes? Would you view yourself as clever? Would you feel relieved about the main character in the movie? Would you feel quenched in what the outcome of the plot in your book is? Now, that's a really fancy way of saying, are you happy with yourself? Are you truly impressed with the things you are doing? Are you winning your battles? Are you, do you consider yourself successful in the things you're trying to accomplish? Would you say that where you are now is a really good spot to be as far as the things you are trying to reach? Now, I'm not trying to repeat my topics in any sort of way, but it all kind of connects because, besides our kid, besides our wife and kids and our family, who are we trying to impress if not ourselves? It's great when someone looks up to you because it gives you a sense of assurance. But let me tell you something. You can feel cocky and confident, and those are two totally different things. Cocky really just means you think people are looking up to you, or you think people are impressed by you, so you go and do what you think they are expecting of you. And realistically, nobody likes that. Truthfully, 8 out of 10 times, nobody likes that shit. When somebody's cocky, half the time everybody just wants to punch them in the mouth. It makes for good television maybe, but do you really want people hating you? Confidence is you being happy with what you're doing, that you have the certainty that what you're doing, even if not righteous, at the very least, you are content with what you're doing, if not for anybody else, but for yourself. That is confidence. And half the time, that's what people are blown away by, Are you trying to find a life partner? Those are the things they are attracted to. You want to make friends, you want to have people in your life that you can trust, that you can spend time with and not be worried about, what they're doing behind your back. You need to have confidence. You know, you need to have confidence in your decisions. You need to have confidence in your activities. If you're doing something, if you're making a big decision about something and you stand by it, nothing makes the people around you feel good about themselves and good about yourself than confidence. When you're confident, everybody else is confident. And what does confident means? Up to a certain point, it almost means that you admire yourself, that you're amazed by the things that you do. If what you're doing isn't meeting your satisfaction, your own satisfaction, then what's the point in doing it? Because you're just not going to be confident. It's going to start to reflect so much in your personality that you're not, you're going to try and fake all these little things and pretend like you're on top of everything and that you have game in the, that you have skill in the game of life. It's so transparent. It's so transparent and people see right through it, and people can only humor you so much before you realize that they've realized that you ain't got shit in life. If you don't got shit, you ain't shit. And, it shows. It really does show. A few years ago, I was, took a trip with my family to LA, and one of my cousin's son, basically at the end of the trip, I left him a little note. Basically, I had to spend a good part of the trip basically just having fun with the kid. He really was a cool little guy. He's funny as all hell. I love that kid. He's probably really big now, and I had so much fun with the guy. And basically, I wanted to end the trip on a fairly decent note. So I literally wrote him a note. Well, one of my sentences read, "The trick to playing guitar is knowing what you want to play and just going for it. In your mind, knowing what you want it to sound like, and then even if it sounds bad, but at least taking a really good swing at it, And that's kind of how you approach life. You step up to bat, and regardless of what your coaches want you to do and what your teammates want you to do, you step up and you swing how you feel necessary. That's how you play sports, and that's how you play guitar. Everyone can tell you what they want to hear. Your parents can tell you what you should be playing. Your friends can tell you what you should be doing, but ultimately it's up to you. It's your fingers, it's your ears, the instrument is your voice. You decide what it's gonna sound like, and you go for it. And that's really how you ultimately play the game of life. You have a stack of cards right in front of you, and you look at them all. You have every single action you can take. You have every single action everybody else wants you to take, between your family and your friends and your bosses and your co-workers, your partners, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, you decide what cards you're gonna play. You decide what actions are gonna freaking take you forward. Now, whether it's helpful or not, whether it works or not, whether the move was well played, whether your decision was right or wrong, it's your life. It's your move. It's your game. Why should anybody else tell you what to do? You're the one who is playing it. And so that's the secret. You're the one playing. Nobody else is playing it for you. And if you're doing what you want to do and you're confident in it, if looking on the other side of, if you're looking at yourself through, a glass wall and you're happy with yourself, and then that's really all that counts. And that's really the only thing that's going to really take you forward. Think about that the next time you're making a decision. Don't try and be funny for the sake of being funny to your friends. Don't try and be good at something because everybody's expecting you to be. Don't try and, do an activity because that's what you think is cool, yada, yada, yada. Everybody's on their own shit. Nobody's, this isn't one of those don't do drugs things, because ultimately if you want to do it, you're going to. God, I really hope my kids are not watching this at some point in the future, because I am not about to encourage that. But yeah, be your own biggest fan.